press and hold the center power button to power on the bike. Hold down the plus and minus buttons simultaneously to reach the settings menu. Press the minus button to scroll down to the battery lock option. Press the center button to select the battery lock page, and then press it once again to unlock and eject the battery. Completely remove the wire loom from all of the cables coming from the controls. Use a 2.5mm hex wrench and remove the bolt from the right and left side frame grommets. Once removed, work out the two halves of each cable grommet and set them aside. On the brake levers, grip and pull the brake harness sensor connection off of the fitting on each brake lever. Within the battery compartment, use a 2.5mm hex wrench to remove the two battery tray mounting bolts. Lift the battery tray up and out of the bike. We recommend stuffing a small towel around the terminal to prevent the bolts from falling into the frame. Use a 2.5mm hex wrench to remove the three battery lock mechanism mounting bolts. Let the lock assembly slide out of place. Guide the brake harness outer ends into the frame grommet holes and into the open space of the battery compartment. Carefully cut the zip tie on the harness side of the motor harness, and then unthread the lock rings and disconnect the motor connection. With the bike upside down, use a 3mm hex wrench to remove the three terminal mounting bolts first, followed by the three bolts that hold the controller in place. Carefully pull up the terminal followed by the controller to access the cable connections. On the controller, disconnect the orange-ended connector. Swap the brake harness. Begin by reconnecting the new harness's orange connector to the controller. Align the arrow to the top side and firmly press the plug into the opening. Guide each of the brake lever sensor plug-ins into the battery compartment through the small access hole in the upper left-hand corner, and then out of the frame grommet holes so that you have one lever sensor plug exiting from each side. Reconnect the brake lever sensors by positioning the arrow on the plug forward facing and then pressing the plug firmly onto the sensor. Reconnect the motor connection by aligning the arrows, firmly pressing both plug-ins together, and tightening the lock ring together until snug. Replace the zip tie securing the motor harness cable along with the other parallel cables to the frame tab. Trim the excess zip tie. Guide the controller back up into the frame and align it to the mounting holes in the frame. Reinstall all three of the controller mounting bolts using a 3mm hex wrench. Ensure all three bolts are threaded in before final tightening. Push the cables in the battery compartment to the sides and align the terminal to its mounting holes. Reinstall all three of the terminal mounting bolts using a 3mm hex wrench. Ensure all three bolts are threaded in before final tightening. With the bike positioned upright, guide the battery lock mechanism back into place and reinstall the three mounting bolts using a 2.5mm hex wrench. Ensure all three bolts are threaded in before final tightening. With the cables moved to the sides of the battery compartment, replace the battery tray and align it to the mounting holes. Reinstall the two battery tray mounting bolts using a 2.5mm hex wrench. We recommend stuffing a small towel around the terminal to prevent the bolts from falling into the frame. Reinstall the battery by inserting the bottom first and pressing the top firmly to lock it in place. Press and hold the center power button to power on the bike and test for proper function. Lastly, reinstall the two halves of the frame grommets on each side and secure them with the original bolts. Use a 2.5mm hex wrench to tighten the bolts. Wrap the exposed cables using the wire loom from earlier. Begin wrapping from the frame end of the cables and work your way up to the handlebar and controls.